next way to expand your bandwidth is to practice what I call obligation management. I used to teach time management, then I taught
Yeah.
energy management. Now I teach obligation management. Why? Because I realize that women feel obligated to do so many things that they don't actually need to do.
Yeah.
It could just go undone. Oh, well. Or maybe someone else could do it either for free or pay it or barter. But when we keep thinking it's my obligation to do all the things, you are on a fast track to burnout, even if you don't have a business. And that by curtailing all the things that we do that we don't actually need to do, we expand our bandwidth by offloading things that weigh us down. And so that's where I first go to biology, and then I go to obligation management. And then the next level is really learning that no really is a complete sentence. And even the most sensitive person can learn how to set boundaries with clarity and confidence. Sometimes we may need to put some distance between us and certain people who don't listen to our no matter how loud we make it. But it's one of my favorite things to coach on is teaching women how to be more assertive, because it's really hard to see gifted, creative, brilliant women completely bogged down by doing things they really shouldn't be doing because they believe they have to. I'm like, rather than teach, because they'll say, well, just teach me how to be more productive, teach me how to be more efficient. And I'm like, so that you can keep doing more things.
Doing everything.
No, I
exactly.
will not do that.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather teach you how to take a really good look at why are you doing this to begin with? And do you really need to do it? One of the tools that I use is called the Eisenhower Matrix. I teach mindset and strategic thinking, but I do use some tools. The Eisenhower Matrix, and I'll make sure I get you one of those so you can share it with your people.
Yes, please.
It's a framework. It's a quadrant that basically you take your to-do list and you break it up into do, defer, which is do it later, delete, and delegate. If it's a do, put it on your calendar. That's the only way you know for sure it's going to get done. If it's a defer, put it on your calendar, but not today and maybe not this week, later.
Yeah.
Delegate, get someone else to do it, and delete is not only don't you have to do it, nobody has to do it. And you know, the funny thing is women always tell me, oh, I have so many, my clients are so needy and greedy, and my partner and my kid, everybody is constantly pulling on me in every direction. I say, okay, that may be so. And how good do you think you are at setting limits and boundaries? What? I'm like, I believe you heard me.
Yeah, what does that mean? Well, but that's the perfect question.
Yeah,
because
we see it coming
that's
from
the
the
next
other
question.
person. Yeah.
How do we create more conscious boundaries?
Respect that you have limits. You have actual limits. There's no shame and there's no blame. They're legitimate, necessary, and healthy. And then, you know, I think most women don't actually ask themselves, is this working for me, very often? My philosophy is that most of us kind of get pushed along in our age cohort. Like, well, this is the age you're supposed to get married. This is the age that you're supposed to have kids. This is the age that you're supposed to have your career stuff figured out.
And society dumps that on us too.
Right?
Yeah.
And so people tell me all the time, I'm behind. Like, I'm not where I should be. I'm like, how do you know that? There's a concept called the social clock, which basically says these are social agreements. Like, by 25 we should be here, by 30 we should be here, by 40 we should be here. Now, these things have adjusted over time. People are getting married later, having kids later, you know, things like that. But we still have this notion that we should be at a certain place at a certain time. That creates an enormous amount of stress and shame when you don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like where you're supposed to be. It also puts distance between you and the awareness that what you're doing may not be what you want to be doing. Like maybe you just kind
Mm-hmm.
of fell into something because you were 20, you were in college, they said, you can't keep taking classes, you need to declare a major, and you go through the
Mm-hmm.
catalog going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, like, oh, I guess I'll pick this one, take off the blindfold. Okay, good, I'm a chemistry major. Like, you don't even know what you want. And so you
Mm-hmm.
just do that, and then you fall into a job, and then you fall into a career, and then now you've got experience. And it's really hard to have the courage to say, this isn't what I want to do anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you have to start over, and now you're even further behind. You know what? I've had 3 careers. I wouldn't be surprised if I have 4. It's not the
Yeah.
norm, but when I don't love what I'm doing anymore, it's
Mm-hmm.
excruciating to keep doing it.